Unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time. You remember when you were in third grade and the school nurse came to class and everybody had to line up to get checked for lice? Remember that? Second grade, maybe. I don't know, maybe it didn't happen to everybody. But it happened at my school, Majestic Elementary School. That's the one I remember. It seems like it happened a couple times, right? And I've been going throughout my life just thinking that probably happened everywhere. But maybe it didn't. Maybe it just happened because we had one dirty family that had lice and gave it to a couple other people and they wanted to stop the spread. Anyway, I never came up positive for lice, thank goodness. And I don't remember anybody being pointed out. It would have been cool if I was going through that now, I'd be looking at the line and I'd be looking for indicators of the nurse finding somebody with cooties. And then I would see who she, sent to the other room or tapped on the shoulder in a certain way, to know who had the cooties. It'd be helpful to know, who had the cooties. I'm feeding Porky right now because he's making a noise. And of course the other pigeons will all fly off the top of the house. Oh, speaking of which, some pigeons have lice. They have louse flies. I've seen them. You'll see them come out from their feathers and scuttle around like a crab on their back and then disappear right back underneath the feathers. Part of being a pigeon, I guess. Louse flies. But, so yeah, I think that might be a condition. I think the reason why I suspect it happened to a lot of people is because I'm surprised by how many adults, grown adults, have taken the cooties issue and turned it into the way they deal with life in general. It's their foreign policy. You can't go by somebody because you might get their cooties. If you get your photo taken with somebody, you might get their cooties. So don't do it. Don't meet with Putin. He's got cooties. Don't meet with Zelensky. He's got cooties. Why are you shaking hands with Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates? And the guy from Palantir. They have cooties. Don't you know that? Don't you know that Kim Jong-il has cooties? Don't you know that guy that said the N-word has cooties now? It really is surprising that has become a thing that adults regularly engage in. That's the whole... For the 4 years where, 2020, ending in 2020, or no, during 2020, but the whole lead up to get Trump out of office, that was the real push, the cooties push. We can't have these people on our platforms. We can't platform these people because of cooties. You can't talk to somebody who has said something that's unquestionable or that's questionable. You can't look at them. You can't refer to them unless you're yelling at them, calling them a racist, But that's kind of been the policy of governments. There's so many people in government that have that policy. That's their foreign policy. We don't negotiate with terrorists. We don't meet with these people. We don't. Because of cooties. You're going to get Kim Jong-il's cooties. You're going to get Xi Jinping's cooties if you talk to him. I bring this up because I saw a post, today by somebody in my feed. Somebody I don't know, I've never met, but the post was basically, when are people going to finally realize that Trump is a fraud? And underneath there was an article about all the CEOs that were lining up to kiss Trump's ring. And, that was the headline. CEOs line up to say nice things about Trump, as if that's a bad thing. As if you don't want businesses lining up to kiss the ring of the leader. I mean, ideally you don't. Ideally you want a totally free market where the president doesn't really have any power to say what's happening with business. I mean, that's what I used to think in my more libertarian days. And I still am a free market person as much as I can be, but we don't live in a world where government has ever not been a thing. It's always a thing. That's just one thing we have to learn to live with, is that if you're dealing with humans or even a flock of pigeons, like I have right on my deck that I just fed, you're going to have hierarchies. Porky, the one that was demanding I feed them, he was on the deck first by himself, making noise, saying, hey, hey, seeds, it's that time of day. He made the move. He was the first in the bowl. The rest of them come around. Hierarchies, they're everywhere. You can't avoid them. There's no such thing as anarchy. So you're going to have to deal with somebody. Somebody's always going to be the ultimate Karen, telling people what to do. And I don't even care who you talk to. You can talk to an anarchist, you can talk to a libertarian, you can talk to, and they all put up a good game of, oh, no, there shouldn't be anything, the non-aggression principle, blah, blah, blah. Everybody just leave. But if you really start needling them and, digging into it, there's going to be somewhere where they're going to pull out their gun to persuade somebody to do things their way. At some point, they're going to be traveling across the land. Somebody's going to say, no, there's a border here. You can't get through. There's a fence. But I believe I should, anyway. So you're going to have to meet with people. You are, no matter how idealistic you are, you're going to have to meet with other tribe leaders. There's going to be other tribes. There's going to be other people that want to steal your shit and run their things their way. So this whole framing of, oh, Trump is meeting with all the technorati, all these business leaders from America. It's just like, okay, have you not been watching that he's been meeting with pretty much everyone constantly since he was elected and from before? Why do you think he owns Mar-a-Lago? It's to bring all those people in. It's as if these people have never... I said to this guy, that said, when are people going to realize he's a fraud? I go, well, you might not like him, but he's been preaching a consistent message since the 80s. He's a business guy. He has always said he's pro-America and that America's getting a bad deal. And that if America was smart, they would negotiate for better deals for Americans, And he's been preaching this over and over again. And now he's simply doing the things that he's always preached. Very consistent. So not a fraud. You might not like him, but a fraud, he is not. He's never preached against business. Business is bad. Technological businesses are bad. Internet businesses are bad. Computer companies are bad. He's never preached that. He's never even preached that drug companies are bad. To me, he seems like he likes businesses and he likes the initiative and the ambition of people who create big things. I'm not as impressed. Well, I guess I'm impressed, but I'm certainly not impressed in a good way. Like, oh, wow, that person has so much ambition. They have 55 restaurants or 1,000 restaurants, or they own a big car company. You know, I sometimes just go, why? Do you really need all that? But again, it's not about need. The idea of freedom is that people get to do what they want. And if they have dreams, they can go out and try to fulfill them. You know, if they see what they think is a need to travel across roads, you know, whatever, fly through the air, go in rockets, whatever you have, you know. Who am I to say what God has in mind for everybody, you know? Anyway, he's been meeting with everybody constantly. I watch these things on RSVN because they like to show I watch these meetings where he meets with world leaders. It's like Trump is a genius in that he likes to have he doesn't have secret meetings. He wants there to be cameras in as many places as possible. Of course, he has some short meetings, but it's always like there's a camera event before the meeting. They go in and have their meeting for 45 minutes, an hour. Then there's an event after the meeting where they talk about the meeting, you know, where it's like he wants the world to see that he's not afraid of anybody, that he meets with everybody, and that he always has the upper hand. I think that's the whole reason why he orchestrates that stuff. You know, just a couple of weeks ago, there was this thing where he had all the NATO heads in there, and everybody was just like, oh, this is humiliating for NATO, and he did this as a way to humiliate them. And I go, okay, maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, but I think it was a way for him to just establish his leadership and to establish that he's at work doing the things that he promised to do, which is meet with people. And you see him, you know, a simpleton like me, a dummy like me, a thin-skinned, petty fool such as me, I would be taking those opportunities to be vengeful, and I'd be chewing people out and fuck you, Keir Starmer, and when I'm not talking to you until you give real free speech to your people. You know, I'd be throwing temper tantrums and acting like a fucking little girl, you know, but Trump's more put together, and he's just like, these are great leaders. He gives them respect, and then he negotiates hard, and he gets what he wants, you know, to some degree. As advertised since the 80s, as advertised in his books, negotiate. Come to the table, negotiate. Use the press as a preamble and a postamble, is that a word, to your negotiations. That's what I see him doing. How is that being a fraud? Do I like any of those people from NATO? No, I fucking hate those people. I mean, I've never met them, but Keir Starmer? Ugh, what a disgusting human, you know? And what he's doing to Great Britain and the UK? But he's meeting with them. Macron and his old elderly husband in drag, he's meeting with them because he understands that's what you have to do. I can't believe how many childish leaders there have been that just refuse to meet. I think there were, what was it said, that Biden never talked to Putin? Like, he never talked to him. That's how severe the Cooties policy was during the Biden administration. Can't even pick up. You don't get Cooties through the phone, bro. You don't. You can actually talk to people. You can shake your enemy's hand. You can do it. You can. If you meet a serial killer, you can shake his hand. You can. It doesn't mean you endorse their serial killing, you know? I get it, because I am a petty person, you know? Somewhat insecure. I might have to make a big demonstration about that. You know, like, whoa, fuck you, Charles Manson. Whoa. You know, grandstand, virtue signal. But I mean, it's petty. It's childish. It's not how a leader behaves, in my opinion. Trump seems to be displaying the qualities of a good leader and a man who gets what he wants. A man who, you hear what everybody says is that when he wants something, call him. Get Putin on the phone. Somebody call Kim Jong-il. I want to talk to him. Let's talk. This is how adults behave. You hear these phone calls about how he got on the phone with the guys he was negotiating with within Iran. Call him. Here's what I think happened with Iran, by the way. Not that anybody's here for my punditry, but everybody's talking about how could Trump bomb Iran? He said he was not going to get us any wars, and it's going to be World War III, and blah 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 blah. Here's what I think happened. I think Israel's been talking about this fucking Iran's got a nuke for how long? They've been using that as an excuse constantly. That's why they're killing people in Gaza. That's why they're doing all these kinds of fucking nonsense. It's because Iran's got a nuke. So I think, in my mind, Trump goes, okay, so the nukes, that's what you're worried about? Yeah, that's what we're worried about. That's why we need to bomb them. Okay, hold on. Hangs up, gets on the phone, calls this guy in Iran. He goes, look, here's the deal. Fucking Netanyahu's a madman. He's insane, right? He thinks you guys have nukes. He won't let it go. He's going to keep bombing until we do something about it. So here's what I suggest. You guys got a nuke facility. We got these bunker buster bombs. We haven't used them. We got some cool guys that have been dying to fly this fucking triangle over the ocean and drop some of these things. So I'm not here really calling here to negotiate. I'm just telling you this is what we're going to do. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to get Israel off your nuts, right? We go do it. We bomb the shit out of this one bunker, right? Get all your guys out of there. We don't need anybody to die. Get all your dudes out. We'll bomb them. You send some fucking bombs over to a U.S. Air base in Qatar the next day. Go around and say whatever you want to. And it'll be over. Because Israel won't have that excuse anymore. Because we will have destroyed your nuclear facilities. Allegedly. Or whatever they are. That's what I see happening. I'm giving the extreme version. It probably wasn't that friendly or whatever. But that's what I see happening. That's what I see him doing all the time. Make a phone call, make a phone call, make a phone call, make a phone call. Get him over here, get him over here. Tell him to come to the White House. I'll fly over there. You know what I mean? Meeting, negotiating. You can't negotiate with somebody that you won't talk to. So as much as I would like it, if he invited Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Fauci, that would have been a great one. All the evil empire. I don't know about Tim Cook. I'm not a big fan, but all the people that he met with, the tech leaders. It would have been great if he met with them and all of a sudden cops came out and arrested them all. Perp walked him in front of the whole world. That would be entertaining as fuck. But really, come on. That's not practical. You can't just... That puts the U.S. in such a precarious position. If he does that, it doesn't work out. Think it through. It's cool. It's cool, but that's declaring war on all businesses. He's trying to bring businesses in. Let's say he arrested just Zuckerberg, or one of them, or just Bill Gates. Then he doesn't get any businesses to come meet with him. That puts an end to the negotiations with other businesses. They'll go, get the fuck away. Don't go anywhere near Trump. He'll arrest you. I don't know. People got to think this shit through. But I think that's the whole point of Cooties, is that you don't have to think. You can just go, oh, they got Cooties. I'm not going to touch them. Not going to go near them. I don't want to get them. I don't want to get those Cooties. I don't know what to do about people like that. I think once somebody's convinced that somebody else has Cooties, There's no convincing him otherwise. And I kind of get it, actually. Like, if you go into real Cooties, if you actually saw Cooties on somebody, you're sitting there talking to them, having lunch with them, and all of a sudden you see a lice run across their hairline. I have a feeling that would probably freak you out. You'd probably never want to have lunch with them again. Like, even after they went through a treatment, you'd probably still think, yeah, you know what? I don't want your Cooties. Anyway, I'm just here to say that I'm still impressed with Trump. All the little things that are coming up, I'm surprised by the way the opportunists. I'm disappointed by Massey. I thought that I loved Massey. I thought Massey seemed like a great guy. But he really does seem to be doing what Trump's accusing him of doing, which is just being an opportunist, a grandstander. Being the one holdout vote, being just not being practical. That's what I guess is the most annoying about the way I see a lot of people acting, not just MAGA, not just lefties, but everybody just being not practical, not fair, not practical, not thinking things through. You want to get people. The thing that's most impressive about Trump is exactly what people are complaining about, that he's meeting with everybody. Every day you see another picture of some world leader or some big business, coming out at the podium, and they do a business. They're going to invest $500 billion. They're going to invest $1 trillion. These people are going to invest this. And every day he's working to bring business to America. Why? What does he have to gain from this? To me, that shows that he really actually does give a shit about America. Or if nothing else, maybe it's just pride. Maybe it's just because he's said it over and over again for the last, 40, 50 years. He's said it. He's on record. And now his pride just makes him follow through. It seems to me that he's believed it. That's when I look at somebody, are they a fraud? Because that's what they're calling fraud. I go, fraud means you say one thing and do another thing. Trump is nothing like that. He says a thing and does the thing. He has some tactics to get towards that thing, but it's always like moving in the direction of the thing that he said. We want to make America great again. Oh, but he bombed a fishing boat. Did he? Or did he bomb a drug boat? And shouldn't everybody be bombing drug boats? It's kind of cool when the military does it, but it would be cooler if regular U.S. citizens did it. Let's be honest. That would be really cool. If you just heard about if you heard about Scott Adams, dying of cancer, stepkid died of fentanyl. But if you heard a story of him with his millions buying a boat, charging through the waters and with a machine gun, a Gatling gun, and bombs the shit out of some fentanyl boat, that would be cooler. But yeah, it's understandable. No, I'm sorry. If you show me pictures of people being bombed at sea, running drugs, I just go, okay, that's cool. It's cool. It is cool. It's a movie. It's a risk. If you enter a business that's killing people and somebody wants to kill you back, that's what you signed up for. Like it's cool when the cartel kills each other, but not cool when the military does it. No. I'm not going to accept that. It's just cool to see drug runners get blown up. I'm for it, Anyway, where am I going with this? Cooties, bad policy. If people have actual cooties, don't meet with them, but also don't dress I just realized that the whole fashion look of 2020, also Cooties, COVID, Cooties. Look who falls for Cooties. Leftists. Childish leftists. Those masks, those face shields. That's what I'm going to start telling people. That's what I should have told that guy. I said, you're acting like a guy wearing a mask. You know, I can't talk to Mark Zuckerberg without my mask on. Basically, it's cowardice. That's what it is. It's cowardice. The Cooties thing is cowards. Joe Biden, I don't want to meet with Putin. It's because you're a coward. I don't want to meet with Kim Jong-un because you're a coward. I don't want to meet with this serial killer because you're a coward. I don't want to meet with any of my enemies. I just want to have them thrown into jail and deny that I did anything about it because you're a coward. I'm afraid to breathe because you're a coward. The air is poisonous. You're a coward. I can't touch you. Stay 6 feet apart. You're a coward. I need to be behind this plastic. You're a coward. There's nothing attractive about being a coward. You know, nothing. And let me tell you, I see zero evidence that Donald Trump is a coward. Like, absolutely none. You know? He'll meet with anybody, talk to anybody, say whatever the fuck he wants, deal with ramifications. Can you imagine the fight he's been against, going up against the U.S. government when they're trying to throw you in jail, doing everything they can, try to assassinate you? He's supposed to be dead right now, okay? Look, you can spin it. I'm so tired of these fucking people that just want to believe, oh, he never really got shot. Okay, thousands of witnesses. How many different angles did you see him get shot? The reactions, you know, shut the fuck up, you fucking idiots. He's supposed to be dead right now, okay? That bullet was supposed to go through his head. If he hadn't turned his head at the millisecond that he did it, his brains would have been blasted out all over TV for everybody to see. And that's why CNN was there, okay? That's why that weird thing with the crowd strike, the airports went down a couple days later, and that company that sold all their stock or shorted all their stock in Trump businesses, he was supposed to be dead, okay? He's not, and I'm not going to say why. But I just go, it's amazing. Getting back up, I'm not going to forget that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to forget how he got back up and didn't miss a beat. I don't know what I would do. I like to think of myself as being somebody that could show that kind of courage, but I don't know. I hope I'm never tested in that way. I hope nobody ever shoots me in the head and misses by a millimeter. You know? I like to think that I would get angry too and stand up, but I don't know. But I know what he did. You know? And I know he didn't drop out of the race. And I've seen so many other people. I live in a city of cowards. I live in a city of people who are afraid to breathe the air. You know? So, yeah. I ain't afraid of no Cooties. And neither is Trump. I'm basically just like Trump. We share a birthday. Well, mine's on June 13th. His on June 14th. So I basically hand off the birthday to the old orange man. Good old Cheeto. I still like him. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks for listening. Unnecessary outro song.